Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Paul's Workshop. And today we're going to be looking at that mystery box, electrical box that we picked up at Jacktown. I want to get working on that Hammerlund radio, but I need a piece of equipment before I can get going on that. And that is a dim bulb tester. So I have an idea for that box, and I'm going to get started on that project right now. All right, so there's two plans really for this mystery box. One is to make it the tester for antique radios, the dim bulb tester. And the other thing I want to do is make it an amp gauge or an ammeter so we can plug in items and see how many amps they're drawing. So this is going to serve two purposes. So here in this big open space is where I plan to mount the amps gauge. Going to get a 15, actually have already one coming, a Simpson 15 amp AC amps gauge. So that's going to go here, and it's going to mount on the side. And then here we have two outlets. One of these is going to be the one for amp measurement. The other one is going to act as the dim bulb tester. Most likely both of these vintage outlets are going to be removed. And then in this big hole in the top, I'm going to mount this vintage bulb. The first thing we're going to have to do is start removing some of the parts off of this so that we can turn this into a usable piece of test equipment. All right, so we do have this mess of old wiring and things in there. So I'm going to take all of this out. I'm not going to discard any of it, but I'm going to take it out, these two pieces, and just put them aside, put them in a box or something. Remove this really cool old fuse holder too. And then this whole thing's going to get cleaned up so that we can actually start to make some sense of it. All right, this is a little bittersweet, I guess. This is the box with the guts out, but you have to, break some eggs to make an omelet, they say. So here's the switch here. So 10 amp, 250 volt. It's called the Twist Tight. So what people were saying, what I read was right. So it's a Hubble. It's a Hubble Twist Tight. So made in USA. Needs a little cleanup. So kind of interesting. Here's the big fuses. Doesn't look like there's any kind of indicators or anything on these. It's probably worn off. So we have those. This really cool porcelain fuse holder. So this will need a good cleanup. And this is that says Union. So made in USA, Union. I don't know if that's the company or if it's Union made, but maybe do a little more research on that. We have a Bryant, your regular 110 plug from back in the day, UL listed. That one too, I guess with the silver color terminals and the brass terminals, that's pretty common. You see that, right? I'm guessing that's aluminum. Then we got the two toggles in here. So I'm guessing that says on, or is that normally open? I think that's on and off. So we'll test this, clean this up and test it. And then deep inside, there was this little like almost a pill bottle with what looks like some type of like points or spade plug things, or I don't know, some kind of like contactors or something. So I'm not sure what that's for. Maybe somebody here knows more. But, all right, so that's the parts there, and the box is pretty well been emptied out. So we're gonna clean it, get those last few screws and stuff out. I think I'm just gonna leave those connectors in there for now, those terminals, just maybe, wipe them down and clean them up. All right, so these old radio and whatever knobs always have like a little flathead screwdriver in them, and or flathead screw in them, not a flathead screwdriver, a flathead screw in them. And what better way to remove a vintage flathead screw than with a vintage mini screwdriver? So we got that off. And then to get this out, the next step is going to be to remove this nut that's on the shaft. So we remove that. All right, just to touch the 50-50 to kind of help and loosen it up. To remove it, I should probably be wearing gloves, but I'm just gonna work that nut off of there. Okay, so this you can, if you look closely at this, you can see this is O-Mite Manufacturing Company, Chicago. So this is OH Mite Manufacturing. This is like a porcelain or ceramic type of material. And clean this off a little bit and see if we can get some info on this. But that's what this looks like taken out. I'm going to take a little of this electronics cleaner, Johnson's electronics cleaner, which I bought at a place called Wayne Electronics up in on Route 23, Pequannock in New Jersey. It's a really cool shop. Maybe one day we'll do a little class trip there. But you're going to try a little bit of this on there and see if I can get that cleaned up. Okay, after some cleanup, we can see this is a Model K, an O-Mite Model K. And it is a ceramic body with vitreous enamel coating. And it's good for 100 watts at 3.16 amps. All right, so we did some completely disassembled and washed the housing here of the mystery electrical box. I started putting some of the parts back in. So there's that. Here's what we have here. So we still have that rust, the patina on the box, which I think I'm going to leave. I think that's what makes this thing look pretty cool. So you can see where the nameplate was and stuff. But I'm going to start reassembling this box and putting in the new parts that we got to make this into something useful. All right, so up here on top where we had that potentiometer, I'm going to put a double pole, double throw toggle in here. And what that toggle switch is going to do, it's going to be the power switch, and it's going to distribute power to the amps test or to the dim bulb test. So it'll kind of function two different ways depending on where you flip the toggle. Okay, just a little bit of a run through with the unibit, and now we have one side on, off, completely both sides off, and then the other side on. Okay, so I reinstalled those these three actually, sockets for trailer wiring, whatever the heck that was for. Next step is to prepare the outlets. So these are just standard 15 amp outlets, Home Depot. We're going to remove these screws, and we're going to cut these extra ears off. All right, so now we're left with something like this. Okay, these pop in just like the old ones did. Everything lines up. We're going to put the screw in here with the nut to hold all of those in place so that they're mounted. And then we'll put the two toggle switches back in place. Okay, so we have our two outlets, and we brought in our power plug. Okay, that came in here through the back, through a strain relief. And that comes up into our double pole, double throw toggle switch, so we can switch between amp testing and our dim bulb test. Okay, and here's our line voltage coming in, and then here's our first power wire, our black, coming in. It's going through our bulb. It's going to come into our outlet here, and then our white common is going to come from here. It's going to go right to the underside of our outlet. Now this outlet, this is set up for when I get the amp meter. That I'll do in another video with the amp meter. So that's going to be an independent circuit. So you'll have, a regular 120 volt outlet with an amp meter, so you can see how much draw you're doing. So that'll switch between this double pole, double throw switch. But so right now this is ready actually to test the bulb, the dim bulb tester. So let's give this a shot. Okay, our tester's plugged in. We have our toggle switch set to center, so that's off. We have a 40 watt bulb in place. That's just the first thing I had on hand, so I'm not going to use that for testing radios. Your bulb has to be like 50% more than the draw of your device that you're putting in under test. But so I have handy here a car battery charger that we're going to plug in just to see if we work here. So we're going to plug this in. All right. Now when we flip the switch, we should get power to it. You can see the bulb flickers there for a second. All right, so we know there's no dead short or anything in here. Okay, now we're going to prepare to have a little fun here. So this is an appliance cord I have that I dead shorted the two ends. Let's see what happens. See if the bulb explodes or whatever. What should happen is the bulb should glow brightly when I flip the switch. It's a 40 watt bulb, so it may, I don't know. Let's see what happens. Here we go. That tells us we have a dead short. So and that's what will happen if we plug in our tube amp or tube radio, whatever we're testing. If it has a dead short, it's going to glow the bulb. It's going to tell you to unplug it. Now I'm going to undo these two leads here that were dead shorted, and right, so now we're back to a safe situation here, and we know that we've corrected our short. So, well, that's how the dim bulb tester works. This is part 1, so hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and meter's supposed to come tomorrow or the next day, so hopefully we'll get a video out in the next few days with the amp meter attached to it. So like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.